Down the Barrel Podcast with Jimmy, Dino, and Jared.
We're here today with our good friend Josh and Katie. And we're going to be talking about deer camps.
Volume 3.
Volume 3. Yeah, Josh here. Tell us about some history of his deer camps and his new deer camp. We're going to be talking about grouse hunting, woodcock hunting, and his webbed feet.
And his web feet, yes. And he still can't swim.
Whoever said you were friends of ours?
That's pretty presumptuous.
It is presumptuous.
But it is funny because they came back to us.
Right. And they brought whiskey.
They were begging to come back.
They were.
Mm-hmm.
They were.
Finally, we caved.
Right.
Finally, we
and here they are.
Right. We didn't.
I'm pretty sure you texted us to come in.
Definitely wasn't me.
I think Dean might have.
I did, but
I'm pretty sure
No,
he did.
But
he
I will
is pretty
say-
desperate for friends.
I will say Josh did start the conversation with, hey, would you guys ever consider doing a woodcock grouse, episode? It's like, yeah, we would.
Yeah, nothing like wait until December when there's snow on the ground. The woodcock are gone to do a woodcock grouse episode.
Well, hey,
Smart
this is
thinking,
down the
Dean.
barrel. We're delayed. Okay.
We're delayed because I
Yeah.
literally just turned your mic on.
It was on.
Yeah, it wasn't. I turned it on.
So do we have to
Well,
start
we'll
over?
start
No, we didn't.
All right.
We got most everything, but we missed Katie's first statement. But
That's all right. It wasn't
The one about
no,
Dean
we
is the
probably heard
worst.
it, but it was probably muffled. And I'm surprised you guys didn't pick up on it, and I did.
Well,
What?
That we couldn't. It didn't sound right.
I'm half deaf and you control the sound.
I'm half deaf.
I'm half or deafer.
You are half or deaf.
Okay, what did
I'm
we
like a
pick up
quarter
on?
deaf.
We didn't pick up on the A.
That's what we missed.
So, anyways, what
A?
Katie started off with
Yes.
was how Dean sucks. And
Basically,
despite Dean sucking, they came back for yet another interview.
and
here we
she
are.
said that Dean
I
actually
was-
invited them.
And I was informed Jared was not going to be here.
Right.
We tell every guest that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we do.
If we told them I was here, no one would come.
We literally just added him to the name of the podcast.
We did. It's not just sometimes. Now apparently he's there
Apparently,
all the time.
right. We
I
dropped
did, not, I
sometimes.
did not ask for that.
Yeah.
I know you, but you're here every time. So I was like, this is silly to say sometimes.
It
Well,
really
now you
is.
make it sound like I have nothing better to do.
No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is now you're required to be here.
Oh, okay.
Required.
It's like in the job description now.
Pretty close.
Pretty much. It's like one of those bad itches.
It just doesn't
Can't
go
get rid of
away.
you.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
So
What
I'm
I
sorry.
want to say, I really can't say.
You can say it.
No, you
Oh,
can.
no,
No, you
I
can.
think I can.
Say it for Trapper.
Right.
No, I can't.
Right.
But we got to give a shout out to Trapper.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right.
So tell us about Trapper a little
Yeah. Tell us about Trapper.
Well, I figured you would want to talk about Trapper. Anyway, Trapper is a nice young man from up where we live at, and we met him through our son Bo, and he helped us put up a deer stand this year, and he helped us grind up venison, like volunteered to do all of that. Shot his first deer this year, got his first deer plaque from Minnesota Deer
Awesome.
Hunters.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Let's do.
He's,
Can we
he's
do like
pumped
a
about
soundtrack of applause for his first year?
We have it,
When
but I don't
you
know what
have
button
the
it
We
edit.
is.
could edit that in.
Edit it
bit.
in.
Okay.
I can edit it in.
Perfect.
Good job, Trapper.
Yes.
Yeah. Yay, Trapper.
Mhm.
Way to go, Trapper.
So yeah, he's a really good kid. He's respectful, and he's a true outdoorsman. He likes to fish, likes to hunt, likes to do all that
Nice.
stuff with his dad, and he's just a super helpful kid. So we wanted to give him a shout out because we know he listens to this. I don't know why, but he does.
Because we're awesome.
We're pretty good. I will say, Trapper, I'm sorry if we say any cuss words after this because we probably will.
I blame Jared.
I blame.
It's probably my fault. But hey,
Usually.
Trapper, do you want to trade names? Because that is
That is a cool. Is that his
name.
legit name?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is cool.
It's an awesome name.
His
That is
parents,
an awesome name.
his parents are so cool.
I know.
Yeah.
I don't know. What's his dad's name? Can you say it?
Dad's name?
Probably like,
Oh my gosh.
Is it
Mom's
like
name's Melissa, but I don't
something
know.
super cool like Jared?
Ty.
Ty. Okay. there you
Ty,
go.
Melissa, you did a great job naming your son. And
Right.
it turns out he's a heck of a sportsman.
And now
When
he's.
he shot his first deer, I was like, dude, if you have a name like Trapper, like you've got to be an outdoorsman.
You have
gotta
to.
shoot
There's
a
no
deer.
choice.
You gotta
Yeah.
do, yeah, like you're
There's
just
no choice.
like, roped into it.
Yeah.
So you guys got him a membership to MDHA, right?
Yep, we did. We
That's
got him
awesome.
a youth membership. Yep,
That's
So
good.
Cool.
he's well deserved of all of that, and hopefully he keeps up with his passions and keeps on
Right.
the straight and narrow path and doesn't turn out like you guys.
I
Amen.
will give you kudos,
Amen.
Josh, for the Itasca chapter, because you guys surpassed all the chapters in the years that we've been doing the first deer plaques. So we started that three years
4
ago,
years ago,
something
yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Mhm.
And the first year, we had, we'll say 20, kind of spread throughout the chapters. But this year, man, you guys had, I want to say 39 or somewhere right around there.
I think it was
Actually, maybe it was more.
than that. I think it was like, because there was a couple things in there, 43 maybe.
Yeah,
Like
actually,
that.
I think you might be right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So kudos to Itasca chapter of MDHA for doing that for
No
these
doubt.
kids. And that is awesome.
Absolutely.
It was awesome. The first year, I think we did like 5. The second
Yeah.
year, we did like 7 or something.
Yep.
And I was expecting around the same this
Right.
year. But I heard from parents that schools were announcing it and kids were talking about it. And the kids and the parents were sending us emails and their pictures of the kids with the harvest. And we posted it on our Facebook. And everybody was super excited. And I think it's a really good way to use chapter funds is to give that kid this plaque, like seeing the smiles on their faces
Right.
when they get that.
Right.
And it's something they'll have the rest of their
Recognize
life.
them for it. Yeah.
Yep.
They'll hang that on their wall and 40 years from now when they're looking back at that, whatever they got,
Yep.
if it was me, it'd be a little spike or something.
Well,
know?
yeah.
Yeah.
And I'd look up at my little set of spikes sitting there with that
Mhm.
plaque and I'd remember that day,
Right.
I think
And-
it's a
And
big deal.
MDHA had
Yeah.
something to do with that.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's great.
Trapper said when he picked it up from the mail, he ran all the way home yelling, "Mom, I got it! It came! Mom, it came!" And he was so excited.
Oh, that's cool.
That's great.
Good for him.
Yeah. So, deer camp. You guys, you've had kind of a grouse or even woodcock camp, and you kind of converted that into a deer camp this past year, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, really, if you think back in time, like back when I started deer hunting, we had what we called the Raby Line Deer Hunters Association, which was my dad, my grandpa, and my uncle Nate, and then eventually, me. And we'd have the meeting at the president's house the night before deer season, which was grandpa's place. And, so we didn't have a deer camp per se. We always had lunch at this old snowmobile shack out in the woods, and we'd have a fire and we kind of did all that kind of stuff. But we didn't have a centralized shack, so to speak. But we still kept up with traditions every year. We shot for a traveling rifle trophy when we sighted in. We, made Joe Frogger cookies my grandma would make every year, which, we can talk about that a little bit later on with when we talk about our camp. But, that's kind of where it started for me. And we always wanted to have a deer camp. And my grandpa had actually set aside, because he owned a lumber yard, special wood and timbers and stuff like that to build a deer camp. Well, then when my sister got cancer, her make-a-wish was to get a horse. And she did. Well, then all the timbers ended up turning into this barn and hay shed for my sister's horses. Whenever I look at the hay or the horse barn, which is really cool, it's
There's
got
my deer camp.
see my deer camp.
Right,
Thanks a lot, sis.
Right.
But so that never materialized. Fast forward to COVID, quite a few years, fast forward, bought a piece of property with some friends and had a little pop up on there. And, woodcock hunted up there once or twice during the fall, but it's kind of cold to stay in a pop up.
Right.
But then this past year we bought an actual camper. And, so we thought after bird hunting in it and everything was good, we're like, hey, let's actually try to do deer camp out of this thing. And it was great.
It was great. Yeah.
Yeah. It was, our first year ever trying it, but yeah, it was a lot of fun.
No, I'd like to just clear up right now that sis is fine and good and enjoying her life.
Yes.
You can't bring up cancer, Josh, without finishing that. Everything's good and
Yeah.
nicely.
Let's see here.
Just had a checkup not that long ago, and everything
She
was
turned
good.
40 and she
Right.
had cancer at 15. So 25.
Yeah. So let's just clear that up.
Still.
Yeah, doing well.
25 years.
I won't say her name, but
Yeah.
she's fine. She's doing well.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, she's as ornery as
So Josh can make fun of her and say,
Thanks,
Right?
sis.
thanks. sis." So, I mean, it sounded mean, but now that you know she's fine and 40 and all good,
she
it's
would do the
it's
same
fine.
as me.
Right. Absolutely, she would.
I was just going to say she'd give it
Oh,
right
absolutely.
back to
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We should have actually had her on here tonight virtually.
That would have been funny.
Let's make it happen.
We could call her.
We should call her.
Yeah, that would be it.
No, I think it's great that place is like a true hunting camp, because I always just considered it, the rest stop on the way to the junction bar.
Okay, we may have stopped there a few times.
It's the only outhouse without a lock on the door.
We like to be good neighbors.
Right.
No, when I first bought the place, it was just an empty chunk of land. It was overgrown and whatever, and kind of really made it into something to use in the summertime was the idea. And then the first year I stayed up there to bird hunt, I started calling it Camp Timberdoodle after another name for woodcock, and which I only call it that in the fall. During the summertime, we call it the land. But once September rolls around, we switch over to the moniker of Camp Timberdoodle, and that's what it's called through, at least for us, through the fall and now deer season. Yeah.
So, how did you find this property?
I was looking for somewhere that, to maybe buy or something like that, around that COVID time. And I was just online one day and I saw it. And when I looked at the way the land laid out, it was close to a lake. The access was just down the road. It had no neighbors. Like, there was a lot of public land around it. There was county land across from it. And so even though it's only a couple acres, there's hundreds of acres that are attached to it that, so you don't have people right on top of you and you're not paying taxes on all this land.
Yeah.
Like, we could see the lake from the camper, down to the lake in 30 seconds.
Right.
And so I went up there in the middle of winter to look at it, and it was all overgrown and there was an old camper sitting on it. But I fell in love with the location. And so we ended up buying it in the middle of winter time. And then in the summer started clearing it out and getting that old piece of junk camper off of there. But over the years now, we've been there. Well, COVID was 2021, I guess. So about 4 years. You realize there's 4-wheeler trails everywhere. There's public land up the yin yang up there, for bird hunting or deer hunting or whatever. Coincidentally, we deer hunt about a half hour away from there.
Well, I mean, we could have deer hunted right behind the camper twice during deer season. We came back.
We're right there.
And one day we pulled in the driveway. There's 6 of them standing at the camper. 6. Like,
right outside the camper door.
Like literally. It's like, well, why didn't we just stay here? And
Next time you pull in, just be ready to go.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
well, funny story about that too. We'll get there.
We'll have the COs too.
Right. I was going to say, we had a CEO on just a couple weeks ago, so let's be careful what we
Oh,
say
it's
here.
all legal.
It's all legal.
Good.
It's all legal.
right.
It was on our property.
Disregard that disclaimer.
Especially where the location is, it's all legal. It's good, right?
It's close enough.
Yeah.
It's close enough.
That's funny. So, how did deer season go?
It was a interesting.
We're not talking about that.
Oh.
It kind of reminds you of turkey season.
I was gonna say I didn't want to mention turkey season,
I like to,
but yeah,
because I got a turkey and she didn't, and I got
and
deer
you got
and she didn't.
you do have to ride home with her. Remember?
Right.
Yeah, that's right. But it might be a quiet ride. No,
Or really loud, getting yelled at the whole time.
it could be.
There you go.
Yeah, we hunted with mom and dad, and then me and Katie, and then Jasmine, my daughter, occasionally. And the person that saw the most deer was Katie. She ended up seeing 11.
Wow.
But nothing worked out. Well, she can talk about that. And then I just happened to stumble on some blind luck. Well, maybe not blind, but the first deer, we were walking into our deer stands because we slept in, and Katie was just ahead of me, and she says, "There's a deer," and I was like, "Well, shoot it," because we got it buck or doe, where we're at, and I was like, "Well, shoot it," and she's backing up like towards me, and she's like, "I can't do it," and I was like, "Yeah, you can. You you got this, And she said, nope, I can't. You do it. I was like, all right, well, I don't even know where it is. Like there's a kind of a spruce tree that I was behind. So I kind of got the gun up and walked around the spruce tree, and it was standing there. And so I took the shot, and she dropped right in her tracks, nice big doe. And I think why Katie was nervous is she's always had the shooting from a stand. Like she's and she's sitting, she's kind of a rest. Like this was freehand, standing up, and she hasn't deer hunted a long time. And so she was a little nervous to take the shot. So, ethical is always, the best thing to
Preferable,
be.
for sure.
Yeah.
So I ended up shooting that one. And then one day I was at work, working from home, and I get an hour for lunch, and it was a beautiful day. And I thought, where we deer hunt's like 30-second drive from the house up there on North Home. I'm going to just go for a walk. So I grabbed my 44 mag lever action and drive up there, threw on an orange vest, like I'm hardly dressed for hunting at all. I was just going to go for a quick walk, get out of the truck, load my gun, walk around the gate, look down the trail, and here's a deer standing there like 60 yards away, maybe 80 yards, I don't know, something like that. Put the gun up. I had a doe tag for up there, took the shot, go up, and it was a 4-corn buck. Literally, it was a 30-second hunt. Like I barely lost sight of them, didn't even lose sight of the truck. And then like that 4-corn was standing right on the trail. Like it's like a walking trail, like that the county mows through the woods. And it was just standing right there. But that's the only two I saw other than a flag on a deer drive. I saw very few deer this year, and my dad saw one, my mom saw 3, but that was with you.
Yeah.
Jasmine saw none. It was pretty quiet, really.
Yeah.
So, but you should probably cover your deer story.
Yeah. What happened? You saw 11 deer, you didn't take any.
30 deer you saw and didn't shoot any.
Feels a lot like turkey hunting. Well, okay, so the first one, I should have taken the shot because I told Josh, just shoot it. I want the meat in the freezer. Like, I didn't want to risk it. And then he stepped up, pulled his gun up, and then I was standing kind of beside him, and I threw mine up, and I was right on her. And I was like, I should just shoot her. But then he shot. So I was like, I should have just gone for it because I probably could have made it.
Oh, yeah.
But I kind of froze in the moment, and I just wanted meat in the freezer and whatever. So
you're Canadian and you're too nice. You wanted him to shoot it.
well, that's it too.
Exactly.
Like, I
Such a pretty deer.
Right. And Josh is a purebred killer.
he is. If he'd have shot it first, there's no way he would have said shoot it. He'd have just shot it.
Right.
He wouldn't have even have told me it was there.
Oh, trust me, I hunt with this guy. You're like, I think there's a boom. It's like, Jesus.
Yeah.
I don't
trust
waste
me.
time.
Yeah, trigger
I don't
happy.
waste time.
there all day.
No.
Yeah.
Do something.
I do. It's like it clicks in my head. There's a deer, and now I need to shoot it.
Yeah. Don't go duck hunting with Jimmy.
Right. Let me range it first because believe it or not, you're not sighted in for 1,000 yards with a shotgun either.
I have never deer hunted with a shotgun.
Any type of hunting. But anyways.
So that was the first one. And then where we were hunting up at home, I decided I was going to go out like after work at night because I'd have about an hour and 15, 20 minutes, depending on the sunset.
Yeah.
Not a lot of time, but it wasn't a long walk in. And so I thought, you never know.
Right.
It's when they're coming off the fields. And
Right.
so the first day I'm up in the stand, I think it was the first day, maybe the second day. It was a gorgeous night, and all of a sudden I heard like this weird noise behind me, and I was like, the heck? Is there like another deer hunter right behind me? Because it sounded like somebody doing a grunt call. I was like, what the heck?
It was
Josh.
stuck in there.
Yeah, probably. So, and then I heard it again, and then I heard like running, and I'm like, holy crap, that was actually a deer. I'd never heard a buck grunt before. And I was like, that's so cool. I wonder, like, are they coming my way? So I'm ready. I've got my gun ready. And all of a sudden I can hear them running. I can tell this deer is getting closer to me. So this doe comes over the ridge and I was like, oh dear. I get my gun up and she stopped for literally 2 seconds. And right where I wanted to shoot, there was a tree about the size of my cup.
You can't see that on the podcast.
No, you can't see that on the podcast. But anyway.
We all know.
Right.
We all
Imagine
know
a
that
Yeti.
one unfortunately placed tree.
Right.
Yeah. And so I'm like, I can't shoot that. But then she was gone, like just like that. So I'm like, oh, but I didn't realize was the buck was right behind her. So I was kind of following her with my gun, noticed the buck. He didn't stop though. He was on it dead. He was wanting her. So then they go down the ridge where I can still see them. They're probably only 50 yards. And so I'm getting ready because I'm hoping they're going to turn and come right in front of me. Well, of course, those dirty deer.
Dirty deer.
They turned and went the other way. So I never...
And what kind of deer? What was the buck?
Oh, he was a nice at least 8.
Oh,
From
really?
what I had him in the scope for his head. That's all I could get in the scope for.
Shoot him right in the eyeball.
Right in the face.
That is not advised.
No, that is not an ethical shot.
If
Well,
it was a 30-point block, I'd do
depends
it.
on your caliber.
A 30 point.
The 30
The
point.
dirty
buck.
Good old 30
Did
point.
you?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I was like, I can't, and of course they turned the wrong way. If they would have come my way, I had 5 different shooting lanes that I could have got them on.
And I think we can all relate. I'm talking to
for sure.
Dean and Jared and me. We can relate. When the wife goes hunting after work, we can relate to that, right?
I wish.
Oh, she's hunting again.
Right? I'm just thinking, I want to get a shirt that says, them darn dirty deer.
Them darn dirty deers.
Darn dirty deers.
Well, there could be kids listening.
How dare them deers?
There's
Right.
Them dirty deers.
They didn't walk in front of me.
I'm going to make you a shirt that says that.
That's going to be our new down the barrel shirt. Darn dirty deers.
Eh? Yeah,
Yeah, with the A on the end.
Sponsored by Tim Hortons.
that's right. Send some Timbits, Tim.
So then
Well,
the
that
day
sucks.
after, I know it was awful. So the same day that he shot that spike
Yeah.
or the fork horn, sorry.
Give me some.
Oh no!
Right.
I want the true story here.
Yeah.
It was a spike, wasn't
I
it?
got a picture of it.
No.
It was
Do you have a
fork.
picture?
Wink, wink.
I mean, he thought it was a doe.
I didn't care.
Then it was a spike. No, it's a fork horn. Tomorrow's going to be an 8-pointer.
Right?
It was a fork horn. It was a fork horn.
All right.
I think. I mean, I should measure because what
They probably weren't 1-inch forks, but I'm still calling it a fork.
All right.
so
All right, there it
technically maybe a spike.
Oh, that's a pretty gun. Is it a Marlin? Ooh.
Harlan.
Guess who hooked him up?
And sorry, you said the chambering. I don't remember.
44 mag.
44 mag.
I love it.
Like you don't even listen.
I know.
Hey, we're talking about Katie's deer.
Yeah, we're on Katie's.
Yeah.
I know. I know.
Okay.
I'm just looking at the picture.
It's hard
and
not to
He's
get
getting
distracted by how awesome
He's
I am,
getting a
but-
hard one.
I'm feeling very generous. So we'll call it a fork.
I should measure him. I'll measure him.
Yeah.
Because technically, I don't know that they make an inch.
Yeah, Jimmy's looking now and he's just
Unlike
laughing.
the deer you shot with your 357 that ran a long ways,
Are you talking
the
to me right
44
now?
Magnum
talking
dropped
to me?
it like, I mean, down.
Nice.
I will say this. That is a beautiful gun.
It's a
It is.
beautiful gun.
That
It's
is a
nice
beautiful.
shooting.
Right, the
It is
laminate
so
stock.
Oh,
That's
man.
awesome.
That is a beautiful gun.
Anyway, back
And
And all
technically, that's
three
a
of these guys are
3-pointer.
getting hard-ons.
Whoa.
We've never said that on this
Whoa.
podcast before.
Close your ears,
We have
Trapper.
never said that on this podcast.
Sorry, Trapper.
But yes,
But she's right. She's right.
it's a Marlin.
with a laminate stock.
Right.
Silver. Stainless
I'm not gonna
barrel.
lie.
Yeah.
right.
So
Back to
then,
you.
anyway, the same day he shot that deer, I go out after work again, and I decide I'm going to walk just down the trail a little farther and go around this corner because there's a little clearing. I thought I'm going to go down there and see if there's anything in the clearing.
Mhm.
So I go down and I'm sneaking along the trail and I'm walking quiet. It was wet, so I could sneak, And there's this big spruce, and I can't really see around it yet. And all of a sudden I hear a deer blow, and they're mad.
I'd have shot her.
And, so anyway, I heard her and I was like, I stopped and I took a step to where I could see her and gone. She took off so fast into the woods.
Should have had 3 rounds by then.
I couldn't. How am I supposed to shoot if I can't see her?
Josh would have.
Josh would have had
He'd
that
have
thing
shot
laying
through
on
the
the
tree,
ground.
wouldn't he? If I
He would
know.
have that thing laying on the ground.
But
man.
then
Called it a 4-pointer.
Skills.
so she ran, and I just don't trust myself with a running shot. I probably had about 10 seconds.
Probably a good idea.
Yeah.
I probably had 10 seconds to get a shot off, but I don't trust myself. I'd have shot her in the butt.
Yeah.
So I'm
Don't
like,
wanna do
nope.
that.
Got to play it safe.
Got to play it safe.
So I went and sat in my stand and didn't see anything else the rest of the night. So then we were doing a deer drive, and his mom and I were standing together, and he was doing the drive, and I could hear deer coming. I was like, Mary, they're coming. I can hear them. And so we're watching, and they just come running as fast as they can right across this creek, and I couldn't get a shot off. And she's like, I never would have taken that shot either.
How many was there?
3.
Oh,
Three
they're
of them.
running from the guy to opening a Snickers bar. They're out of there, man. That's the best way to do a deer drive, bro.
Every so often I stop and have a snack, so I'm hoping they slow down because they're not so
Right.
fast.
You don't push them so hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
And I've seen pictures of your ma killing deer, so I know she would have killed them. So I accept her saying she wouldn't shoot them.
Right. She said she wouldn't have shot him. So
Right.
then 3, 5. So we're up to
The other
6.
ones were the ones that came into your lap.
Oh my goodness. But there had to have been another one because that's only
Well, that's all right.
6.
You can fast
Wow.
forward to that.
Are you sure she actually will kill a deer? Is this a
7.
Canadian thing?
I'm starting to think
Right.
she should hunt with you guys because it seems like the only one that pulled the trigger is Jared. You guys just
Hey,
cameras.
you heard it here, folks.
This year.
all I ever hear. Well, we saw this and
All right.
this, and I'm like,
You know what?
Get a camera.
We're
and
hunting
just
tomorrow
take
morning.
pictures.
We are.
Right.
Boy,
And-
that's scary.
and
The
the
deer
great-
better look out.
They better. And the great thing is our freezers are both full too.
Our freezers
Yeah,
aren't
thanks
full.
to your kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how we pass on the tradition.
Jared.
Uh-huh.
You have to have some selfishness in you and just shoot something.
Right.
Like Josh
Like
does.
me.
Yeah.
Get out of the way,
He's like,
Katie.
get out of the way, you loser.
Yeah. So actually, the real story is, Katie, what you need to tell it right.
Right.
So here we are walking, and I'm in front of him, and this deer runs in front of us, and this bastard pushes me down,
To the ground.
puts his foot on my back, and shoots this deer.
Yeah.
Who are we talking about?
I like that
You,
story.
Oh, me.
America first.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm good with that one.
Yeah.
That's how it went down.
Exactly.
I knew it. I knew it.
I mean, it's the same thing. If a bear was chasing you, he would push you to the ground and run first because
Right.
he know he ain't beating you.
Mhm.
Well,
It's true.
self-preservation.
I get it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Truth comes out.
All right.
Yeah.
So back to seeing deer.
So then we went back to the plantation the one day, and there's this stand at the back of this trail. It's like homemade. It's like built out of trees and logs, and it's built up, and it's like a 3-wall thing. And the guy who sits in it every year, they call Santa. And he took logs, and he made a bench to sit on. And I'm like, God, that's a good stand. It looks right down this other trail. And I'm like, I'm sitting there. He shoots a deer every year. I'm sitting there. So I get in there the one day, sit there. I wasn't there 5 minutes. And these 3 deer come bolting across the trail towards me. And they run, I'm not probably me to the wall right past me.
5-10 yards. Like
Like-
practically inner lap.
And practically in my lap. Running though, like full. I don't know what spooked them, but I was sitting quietly, like they didn't see me. I mean, maybe they smelt me. I don't know, but they just bolted right past me, and I was like, nothing I could do. I was like,
Them
wow,
dang deers.
them dang deers.
Dang deers.
I was like,
Damn dang deers.
there they go. I texted Josh. I was like, that's it. I quit. I'm walking out. I am done. And And I'm like, why do they just stand there and look stupid for you? And for me, they got to be on a dead run every single time.
If you really want us to answer that, it's, he's an equal opportunity hunter. They're equal opportunity deer, okay?
Okay.
They feel bad for him.
I truly believe that the deer present the challenge befitting of the hunter.
Right. Exactly.
And that's why Dean
walking down the trail, they hear
and that's why Dean's just walk out in front of his truck.
Pretty much.
So then I'm still sitting there because he's like, oh, you're not walking out. Just sit there. They might come back. Whatever. So I had done a couple, doe calls or whatever, just.
Timbits here.
Yeah.
Timbits.
Come here, dear. Just trying to call him in. And then I'm just sitting there. I was getting a little bit cold. So I was sitting there kind of like bundled, just looking down, trying not to move, watching, listening. But it was
You were online shopping, just a minute.
I most certainly was not. Because
Actually, she's like, I really hate you, Josh. I want to come out right now.
Please get out of the stand. He's like, no.
if I had my hands out of my gloves, my hands were freezing. So no, I was not online shopping. Thank you very much.
Seemed like you were texting me.
No, I wasn't because my hands were cold. So then all of a sudden, like I'm sitting there still, all of a sudden I hear behind me like a, I don't know.
I don't know either. I wasn't there.
Well, I
noise. You heard one of those noises.
Well, it was like a, and I was like, the heck? So I turn around and there's a deer, another 10, like basically in my lap, 10 freaking feet from me. And I was like, oh, so I pull my, it's behind me. So I'm trying to turn and get my gun. It was back in the woods before I even had my gun on my shoulder. I was like, son of a gun. I'm like, I'm done.
Them dang deers.
Them dang deers.
Dang deers.
So, and then.
The 11th one was at the camper.
Yeah. So then we go back to the camper that day. It was the last, wasn't that the
last day?
So those 4 deer weren't the last day. They were the second last day. So the last day we don't see anything. So we're going back to the camper and Josh says, put your gun in the back seat, have a shell in the
case.
Yeah, gun in the case and have a shell
in your
pocket in case there's one at the camper standing in the yard. I'm like, all right. So I said, if there's one, you just keep driving and go up the road and you're going to drop me off and I'm going to walk back and I'm going to shoot this stupid thing. So
deer.
Damn deers.
So we sneak up to the land. We don't see anything. When we're looking, we don't see anything in the woods or anything. So we pull in and I go to unlock the camper and the keys aren't in there. He's like, oh, they're in the side of my door. So I'm like, okay, I walk back to the truck, open the door, and I just happen to look behind the camper and there's 2 deer standing there. I'm like, babe, what? I'm like, there's 2 deer right there.
And you know what he's going to say, right?
And he's like,
Shoot it.
He's like, no, right. he's like, no, there's not. I looked. I'm like, they're right there. He's like, well, go get your gun. Hurry. They're not going to stay there long.
Right.
So I run back, grab my gun, put my shell in it, and then I'm like sneaking, moving, trying to go get them. And they're in the thick brush, and I'm trying to get to where I can see them to get a shot on one of them. And
I know what you feel, Josh. I know what Josh deals with. I hunt with this guy, and I'm pointing to Dean right now, and it's like deer comes out, and I'm like, okay, Dean, you should shoot these deer. And in my head, I'm like, shoot the damn deer, kill. And I'm like, I would have had this deer shot at like 3 times by now.
It'd be gutted by now.
He's like, I gotta get rest. I gotta get a good shot.
You gotta get a good shot.
well,
I gotta get rested.
there
Which
was all
I'm not
the
going to
brush
judge anyone
and-
for making the shot they're comfortable with. You
Right,
know,
but
like,
it shouldn't take that long.
Who shot a deer last year?
It was literally,
You did.
I was looking at the deer for 10 seconds.
yeah.
That's plenty of time.
Not when all you can see is its butt.
Texas hard shot, bud.
So I try to move to get a shot and it takes off running. I was like, that's it. I give up.
Oh, you don't
Did you
give
just turn
up.
around and shoot a Josh?
What I should have done was walk around the camper the other way because it was a much clearer shot. The way I walked, it was when I walked over to where he was standing, it was a perfect shot. I should have walked that way, but
I was on that side of the camper because I was going to shut the propane tanks off because we were closing up camp.
Yep.
And so I'm like looking at her over there with the gun up, and I'm waiting for a shot. I'm waiting for a shot. I'm waiting for a shot. And
it's perfect
from
on
where
your
I'm
side.
at, I'm like,
yeah.
we're crying out loud. Shoot the friggin'. It's like 15 yards away. I'm like, shoot it. I'm like, Troy Landry. I'm like, shoot him.
It's your last chance.
But then when he came over where I was and could see what I was looking at, he could see I didn't have an opening where I could get a shot. So
I was a loving husband.
and he's like,
very nice of you, Josh.
so he says, I guess I should have told you to come over to where I was. I'm like, yeah, gee, thanks.
Okay, so what did you guys end up with at the end of season?
2 deer.
2 deer.
A doe and a 10-point buck, apparently.
We had, so there was us 2, Mom and Dad and Jasmine, 5 of us, and we got 2 deer.
Right.
Well, that's not bad.
And who shot both of those deer?
We don't need to give him a big head, Jimmy. Come on.
Well, we had 2 out of 4.
We did.
Yeah, because there was 4 of us, and the 2 boys got
The 2 boys, yeah.
So we weren't doing too bad.
We passed on some deer.
We did.
We could have shot them, but we were saving them for the boys.
Yep.
At least that's what we're going to go with.
And you guys, I'm trying to remember what you guys ended up with.
2 for 3.
Yeah,
But we
that's
we passed on plenty, and I honestly I should have taken a doe. I'm a big fan of, I don't know how to say this in a professional way.
Right.
I don't like having virgin guns. Right. Like I like to, when I get a gun, I like to harvest an animal with it. And so this year I really wanted to, break in the Henry.
Right.
And I got my buck with that. And then I had the gun of the year, MDHA gun of the year, the 30-06, that I wanted to break in next on this doe. And, I've got like a pretty nice 4x12 scope on there. And I had this nice doe come in at 8 yards. and it wasn't running, it was just walking by at a steady pace. And I'm like, I'm in a ground blind, so it's got the support little things. And I'm like following this doe and like going up and over these supports on the windows. And all I can see individual hairs on this doe, but I couldn't tell you where on the doe I'm aiming. And I'm just like, I wish I had my Henry because I'd have a dead doe.
Right.
Yeah. And so I'm waiting and waiting. I'm just like, please stop. Let me figure out where on your body I'm pointing. And so finally I was like, all right, I got to get her to stop. And so I gave her the meh. But she's 8 yards away.
Right.
And she just
but Jesus out of her.
took off.
Right.
Took off. So that's the end of that.
So was it literally set at 4 power though, or did you have it cranked up?
It was set at 4.
So you were still seeing that much.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like I could not tell you what I was aiming at.
Right. And I think what you're getting at is when you say, you don't like a virgin gun, is you're always looking for that gun that's lucky. Right?
I don't know.
It's like if I get a deer with this one, maybe this is my lucky gun and I'll get one with it every year.
No.
I have not found that gun myself
But
either.
That's
with
not
him.
what I meant though.
No, I agree with him because my 308 that I got last year, my M1A,
Yeah.
I wanted to kill at least one deer with that before I
put
just
it back in your safe.
put it back in my safe and target practice with it.
Right. Because I got the Winchester 94, like that thing is tried and true. It's taken more deer than I could ever, hope for in the future.
So like one.
No, I mean, that was my grandpa's gun, that gun, it's a killer. Right. But I like, I get a lot of guns at banquets and, we have a great gun store and Dean's a great salesman and I get.
Tell me about it.
Right.
They just show up at my house.
Right. And I like to try out different guns and harvest animals with those guns. And so I wanted to bring out this 30-06, but it's not set up for an 8-yard shot.
I was going to say, if we're shooting 8 yards, we might want to reconsider what we're shooting here.
Yeah.
Like
Scopes,
I
you can probably leave them at home.
I had my ground blind set up against the base of an oak tree that has a limb that's snapped off and it's still attached, but like kind of burying into the ground.
Yeah.
So I'm set up under that. And the does were brushing against that tree limb. So I did not pull the trigger.
Right.
Them
It
dang deers.
happens. It happens.
Them dang deers.
Them
There's something
dang
about
deers.
the new gun thing though, like that Marlin 44 that I shot the
Yeah.
10-point fork horn.
Yeah.
They
10.4.
that was part of why I brought it that day. Is I was like, I really wanted to shoot a deer with that gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when I shot and it dropped, I was like, whoa,
Oh,
sweet. Like,
wow.
Got
This
it with
is-
the 44, like the first one with it.
Right.
And so it was exciting. And
This is the one.
yeah, and I'll definitely carry it again. I mean,
Oh, it's a beautiful
100-some
gun. How could
yards,
you
like,
not?
It's nice
Yeah.
and accurate. It doesn't kick much.
Mhm.
And when you got that gun, it's like 44, huh? You really want that?
Mhm.
But hey, it works. I'm not
Right.
going to knock that caliber by one iota.
Yeah.
No.
No, it's
Not at all.
I've practiced up to about 100 yards with it because I'm like, I mean, realistically, where I hunt,
Right.
100 yards is probably a lot.
Yeah.
Most of the
Right.
time, it's probably 60 yards or less.
Right.
And I mean, it was accurate. It was right there with my 270 short and my 6.5, and like it was right there. I mean, it was a pretty accurate little gun.
Do you hear that?
I can't believe I heard that.
He said 6'5".
Oh,
And
I
you
did.
know-
that blanked right out of my head. I missed that
It
one.
really did.
I was waiting for you guys to
and
say
the other thing
I
is,
literally did.
he didn't buy that 6.5 from me.
No.
I
Why
had
would you
before
buy
you.
a 6.5?
Yeah.
If it wasn't for me.
He had it
Make you
before
feel good.
me, apparently.
Oh.
I bought my gun from you.
You did?
Is it a 6'5"?
No.
No, it's a
It's still
7mm
virgin, though.
08.
What? 7mm?
08.
Nice.
Yeah, that's
Savage.
a great. I know. I really want to get that caliber.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
But I really don't like the bolt on it.
What brand?
It's
Savage.
Savage.
Oh.
It is stiff.
It is.
Are they
I
still a
don't like
potential sponsor?
No.
No.
I mean, I
then
love
I'm gonna
it.
be honest.
Not
I
this
will
year.
never
Not
buy a
this year.
Savage.
The
Not yet.
Savage gun, there's nothing wrong with the gun,
Correct.
but I've been around enough Savage. They're all stiff. It seems
Yep.
like right when you go to close that
Yeah.
final bit of closing,
Yeah.
it's
Yep.
stiff.
Yeah.
I tell you, you should really look at the Savage Stevens
Yeah.
because they do have a different action on them. I
Mhm.
will say that.
Well, and I will say I did at a banquet win the
Yeah.
what is it? The Precision 2
Yes.
chambered in 308. And that is a nice gun.
Mm.
And the Model 110s are a little bit better too. Of course,
Mhm.
they're a little bit more, they're kind of that Savage high end,
Yeah.
Right.
but yeah.
I guess I should say that the Axis line is not for me.
I don't know. That one you have at the store, I like that gun.
Oh, yeah, that new camo. And that's
The 30
Axis
out of
number
6?
2.
Yeah.
The number 2 is a little bit better.
Mhm.
Savage Stevens is better than that. And then you get into the 110s, which are a step above. And then
Right.
what you won.
I don't remember. It's a chassis.
Yeah,
Precision.
it's a chassis gun. But yeah, that precision is just even that
It's
little
nice.
step above.
It's
yeah.
nice. It's
So,
accurate.
Mhm. Not bad.
But yeah,
It weighs about 300 pounds,
it
but
does.
Dean, when I start texting you about
Yeah.
guns I want, you can keep that on the down low, right?
I'm that kind of guy.
Mhm.
I'm a hell of a
I know
salesman.
you are, because
right?
there's lots of guns come into my house that I don't know about.
I don't know what you're
I've had
talking
those for
about.
years.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
he won those.
right.
He won those at the banquets.
Yeah,
Right.
before we were together,
They were
right?
free.
Yeah, right.
Paperwork takes a long time.
Then we get the bill from the MDHA store. Aha.
Dem dang guns.
Them dang guns. All right, so deer
Like I
season was
could care.
deer season was good, especially for Josh.
I'm really only
It
for
was
Josh.
okay. Despite me not shooting a deer, it was a super fun deer season
Good.
and exciting.
right?
And I've never seen a buck chasing a doe like that up close in person. I've never heard one grunt like that. So it was super. Even though I didn't shoot one, I still had a great season.
Yeah, and you guys had deer camp finally.
Right.
Right.
So
Together.
And that
that's
was
pretty
fun.
cool.
That was fun. Yeah. Our first year camp together. And, one of the traditions that his families had that his grandma did was she always made these cookies called Joe Froggers the night before deer camp. So for as many deer seasons as we've been together, I got grandma's recipe and now
Oh, cool.
I make them for him, and they're actually really good. And we take them out in the deer stand, and he has them with his coffee. And, I just like that I can carry on one of those family traditions.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I will say Josh's
awesome.
family has a lot of traditions.
They do.
Yep.
And, and I've been down to Raby hunting with you guys when I first moved here, and I did 2 seasons down there and whatnot. Never got a deer. Got my tree stand stolen. I think Josh actually took it.
He probably said
He just
nice
didn't tell me.
It's a nice stand.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah. So,
I heard
so
it
yeah,
was yours.
So I've been hunting with Josh, and yeah, it's been fun.
Right.
No, it was, deer camp this year was a good experience. I mean, like Katie said, she made the Joe Froggers, which I don't know if anyone remembers, that's an MDHA member, but I wrote a story about Joe Froggers and the tradition of that, I don't know, about a year or two ago.
It was last
It was
winter.
right.
Yeah, I remember reading about it.
Actually, I was excited to show Grandma because she was 93 at the time, or 94. I was excited to show her the story in the Whitetails magazine about the Joe Froggers, and right before the issue came out, she passed away. It was a couple days.
Yeah.
I got the issue right after she passed away. So it was kind of cool that, Katie's picked up that tradition, and, we each have our roles at camp. Like, she made lasagna and all the fixins and all the, she does all the food planning, and she takes care of all the inside stuff. And
Josh
I'm outside with the grill and the generator and getting the propane, the fire going, whatever, any outside stuff there might be. And it's the same when we pack up. Like, she's kind of getting everything back the way that she wants it, and I'm loading gear into the truck and whatever. And but I don't know, we didn't play much for cards this year. Like, we seemed like we were exhausted.
Yeah.
I was watching Patton on surround sound with the volume turned way up and irritating Katie with the sound of bombs going off and whatever, and just all in my glory while you were trying to fall asleep at 8:30. But
yeah, I get it.
It's a long day when you're out in the fresh air and you're up early, and you get a drink and some lasagna, and it's time for bed.
It is definitely time for bed.
That was some good lasagna.
It was.
Did you bring it with you?
I didn't even know they made lasagna in Canada.
I didn't either. I thought that was like an Italian thing.
Right.
I'm sure it has some twist to it.
Oh,
Probably
France is close to Italy.
Right. What does it have in it?
No marinara sauce. It's all maple syrup.
Yes, maple syrup.
Maple syrup lasagna.
It'd be like the spaghetti on Elf.
Right.
Yes. Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's go back to the cookies. I want to know what's in those cookies.
Well, you better talk to the boss.
I mean, you don't got to tell me the recipe.
I
But let's
can't-
hear what is it?
Yeah.
Is it a chocolate? What is it?
They're more of like they've got molasses in it.
Ooh, I love molasses.
So they're more like
like a pancake sized ginger snap.
kind of,
Ooh.
yeah. But I can't give out.
Well,
I can't
no,
tell
no.
everything because it's kind of a secret. At
So-
least I'm keeping it a secret.
Well, you should.
Family
Yeah.
recipe, man.
Right.
But they're kind of like a soft ginger snap. Like, I don't like hard
Oh no,
ginger
no.
snaps, but these
So it's
are
like a soft molasses cookie.
And
My
you,
God, that
like,
sounds great.
they're like 4 inches diameter. Like I usually end up doing them smaller, but that's what the recipe says.
That's a lot.
4 inches is a lot.
Well, I
That's a big
was just
cookie.
gonna say, like, with your hand gesture that the audience cannot hear, Josh is lying to you about what 4 inches.
No, I mean, generally they're supposed to be a big.
Well, Joe
Generously.
Frogger back in the day, if you look at the history of a Joe Frogger, they were actually like the size of a plate. Like one cookie would be like the
Really?
size of a
I've
plate.
never heard of it other than your story.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, when you have a Joe Frogger with a cup of coffee,
Good.
oh,
Especially in a deer stand.
Oh,
that
yeah.
and they
sounds like a
stay
full
pretty soft,
breakfast.
even in the cold weather. They
Especially some molasses.
Great.
It's not crunchy but chewy.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I
Sign
think
me
I've
up.
done okay on the recipe because even his dad approves.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
So I'm like, I think I've nailed the recipe.
That's cool.
So of course I take mom and dad, some cookies, and I did a bunch of baking for deer camp so that we weren't buying. Well, here
covered Rice Krispies.
we weren't buying, Little Debbie's and opening wrappers. Like I thought, I made Josh's favorite, the chocolate covered Rice Krispies. I made the Joe Froggers. I think I made chocolate chip cookies, and I made something
He was
else.
set.
All right.
Wow.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
but then, okay, so I put them all in Ziploc bags thinking, well, I'll be pretty quiet. They're way louder than a Little Debbie's wrapper. I was like, well, that was dumb.
Well, he's not so used to being quiet opening that as he is Little Debbie's.
All right.
Right.
He's got it
that
down.
down.
Practiced.
You can just.
You're just a rookie. And really, the idea is you only open the bag once.
And I did.
Because then you're just gorging on what's in there. That's all it takes.
Well, and that's what I did. As soon as I get in, I'd unzip the pockets of my backpack I needed, and I'd open that bag of goodies. Well, but so I took some to Mom and Dad, and then we each had a bag, and it was,
Wow.
those chocolate covered Rice Krispies when it's cold. I thought I was going to break a tooth.
So-
Yeah,
So-
they're crispy.
They're
Chocolate
hard.
covered Rice Krispies. Are these just Rice Krispie bars
No.
with chocolate? Are they that? Because there's a lot of names.
They're-
Well, there is
They're
Scotcheroos.
Scotcheroos.
Okay.
Technically,
All right.
Scotcheroos, I believe.
called
Yeah.
Scotcheroos. I don't know what
that seems complicated to me.
It does.
Does it
Special
have
special K
Scotch?
bars.
Special K.
No,
bars,
see,
special
the
K.
Special
They're not made
K
with Special
actually
K.
has Special
Oh,
K.
I know.
These ones are made with Rice Krispies.
Yes.
So they're just, how can they be a
Butterscotch, you dumbass.
Because there's butter on top.
No,
They have
You hit a sore
butterscotch
spot
in them.
there.
They do.
They don't have Scotch in them.
they don't have Scotch in them. I would have tasted that.
So to him, they're just chocolate covered
That's
Rice
all I need
Krispies.
to know.
with peanut butter and butterscotch.
Apparently, we need to go to their deer camp because we don't have anything close to that.
Honestly,
for our
I don't.
snacks.
I'm
we
lucky
eat
if
like kings, like
Yeah,
over there.
I get nothing.
Hey,
we get the medallions from.
We get some
the
beef jerky.
Yeah.
Well, Christy made cookies for
She did.
our Ripley
for
trip.
Ripley camp.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those were delicious, but they were gone
They,
within the first 5
they
minutes.
did not make it out of the camper though.
No.
Yeah, no.
No. But this episode better be called "It's Butterscotch, You Dumbass."
That might be a good one.
Right?
It's butterscotch, you dumbass. Or the 10-point spike. or
Yeah.
something
Right.
like that.
All right.
Dim dang deers.
Before we run out of time, though, we should.
All we got is time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say instead of talking about me not shooting any deer, we should talk about what I did shoot this year.
I was going to say,
Ooh.
let's go.
Whoa.
to
I
this-
noticed.
wait,
I
no.
noticed Josh limping on his way in.
Yeah. Let's go because we had said
Unless-
let's talk about grouse and
unless
woodcock.
he
I
had
was-
something else.
Oh, you
just
did?
thinking about an update from after our spring hunt. If you want to update it.
No, we're not. So, but I forgot, one of the other traditions, this started with Josh's grandma on his mom's side. One night before season, she rubbed Bart's bullet for good luck. And the next morning, he shot a deer. And the next year, same thing. She rubbed the bullet, he shot a deer. This went on for I don't know how many years until she passed away. So then,
She rubbed the bullet like the final time, basically on her deathbed, and he shot a nice 8-point buck.
Nice.
And
Nice.
so the tradition kind of stuck that, my mom started to do that. And then, I kind of had, back in the, like my daughter Jasmine, and whatever. But it seemed like if we forgot to do it, we didn't get a deer
or didn't see him.
or didn't see any. And we'd hunted the first day because I didn't even see anything. And we were standing at the truck about to go in.
The second day.
And I happened to look down at one of my bullets, and I always mark the one that's been rubbed with a marker, so I can tell which one to put in first.
Mm-hmm.
And I could see marker from the prior year. Probably must have been the second bullet rubbed because I shot one the year before. And it dawned on me, I didn't have anybody rub the bullet. And so I looked at Katie and I was like, "Fuck, I know what the problem is." And she's like, "What?" She's like, "You didn't rub the bullet." And she goes, "Oh my God." So she rubs the bullet and she's, gives it a kiss and stuff, and I put it in the chamber and sure as crap.
10 minutes
10
later.
minutes later, we shot that doe. And, it's kind of crazy. In fact, I also in Minnesota Deer Hunters magazine, I wrote a story that kind of talked about both the bullet rubbing tradition and then, if you believe in like signs from above, I can't think of the title off the top of my head, but it was basically that the day that I went out, been a long season, hadn't seen anything, realized like didn't have the bullet rubbed the bullet, and it was a fork horn again. I don't know, I got a thing for 10-point fork horn, and shot a fork horn. And as I was calling my mom, because it was just her and I out there, and it was snowing to beat heck, you know, and I called my mom and stuff, and I told her about it, and I was walking over to get her, and my grandpa had just passed that year, and his like spirit animal or whatever is a eagle. And over the top of my mom, out of the snow, comes this eagle, like right over her head. And I was like, oh my God. Like first we rubbed the bullet, which was my mom's tradition. And then this eagle flies over the top of my mom. And then to make it even more weird, we dragged the deer out to where the four-wheeler's parked, and that eagle's sitting like 10 yards from the four-wheeler.
That's crazy.
And it stayed there the whole time. We loaded up the deer and everything and let us take pictures of it. And then it just flew right back over and like into the snow and was gone. And it left me with this really like tingly, like, kind of supernatural type thing. And so, yeah, it is like, that's a major family tradition.
Yeah.
Like we all do that, you know.
That is awesome. That's a great story.
Cool. Yeah.
How come you never kissed my bullets?
I was just going to say, like, I mean, I had pretty good success this
Nobody's
year.
ever kissed my bullet.
Well, I think the last time I had my bullet rubbed was almost 3 years ago because the twins are almost 3.
True
I knew
story.
you guys would go somewhere.
Yeah.
I wanted to like about 5 minutes ago, but then you started talking about grandma and
Right, you can't-
daughter.
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
No,
it was a
we're gonna
great-
wait.
No, it's a really, really cool
It's
tradition.
It is.
It's an
pretty-
awesome tradition.
Yeah. I'm going to see if I can get my bullet rubbed tonight.
I hear your chances are very low.
But on top of that, grouse and woodcock this season.
Yeah.
How was that?
Wow. It was great.
Yeah, because you guys use the same camp, right?
We do. Yep. Yep. Camp Timberdoodle.
Timberdoodle.
And have you ever been grouse and woodcock hunting before?
I've been grouse hunting before, but never shot a grouse.
Okay.
So, and never would, since we've been together, Josh and I've gone with him and I follow him and I videotape and, you know, all the things, but I've never had a gun. So this fall, we practiced quite a bit with clay pigeons and I was doing pretty good with them. So he was like, yeah, okay, I think maybe you'll get one, you might get lucky. So we'll try. I'm like, all right, like I want to get a woodcock. I was like, I don't care if I get one.
I only said that because Dean's been trying for like 20 years and I don't know if he's gotten one yet.
I thought I got one woodcock with your dad one time.
Oh, did you?
I think so.
You sure he didn't shoot it and say, oh, yay.
Well, that very well could be.
I've been duck hunting with Dean. And that's what you have to do.
Yeah.
Good shot, Dean.
It's like the
Good
kids when
shot.
you have the
Funny.
kids out.
I did nail that,
though.
That's what we keep telling you.
So we go out, and I mean, I'm going to get all my days mixed up, but the first weekend we went out, the first day, I don't think I shot at one the first day, but the second day I shot at one, and I know I missed, but then I did get one the second day, and it was a miserable day. It was raining, it was cold. He was going to kill the dog. And, like, he was just miserable. He couldn't shoot the broadside of a barn if he was standing inside of it. Like, he was having a bad day. And so then this woodcock gets up and is perfect, comes over the trail. Like, I shoot it. It falls in the middle of the trail. I was so excited. I was like, dead bird, dead bird, dead bird. I was so excited. He's like, yay. Like,
That was a blue jay.
I was excited.
That was a blue jay.
I was like, wow, I thought you'd be a little more excited for me, but okay, whatever. I'm excited. And then, I don't know, we went out. I don't know how many times I went out, but then another time we took Katrina out, and that's when I got my first grouse. So she thought that was pretty cool. She got to see Mom get her first grouse. I mean, It was sitting on the trail, so it wasn't on the fly, but that's okay. It wasn't long after that I got my first grouse on the fly. Nailed that sucker.
Yeah.
Nailed it. And then I think total for the year, I got 9 woodcock and 3 grouse, 4 grouse?
4, I think.
4 grouse,
Wow,
I think.
that's awesome.
For my first year.
Yeah.
And the one day we were out and I got I got 1 woodcock and then I got another one. I was like, I gotta get my limit. Like, I just need 1 more. I'm like, I don't want to, like, he was like, oh, we gotta get going. Like, we gotta pack up. We gotta get home, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, can we just go to 1 more?
That sounds like Josh. That's a really good impression.
That's a Josh. I know. He always has this time frame in his head of how long things should take. Like, we can go into Bemidji.
This podcast is done.
We can go into Bemidji and need to go to L&M, Walmart, Hobby Lobby, Target, and he allots 10 minutes at each store. Like, I'm not kidding you. He's like, okay, time to go. I'm like,
Seems generous.
I'm like, I just got here. Like, L&M is one of my favorite stores. Like, I need to walk around and look. Like, there might be something new that I want to look at.
Gotta check the sales.
Right? Mm-hmm. And it's like, and then, so he's like, wow, I'm like, what do we have to get home for? We don't have kids at home. We have nothing to get home for. If I want to take an hour in L&M, I'm going to take an hour. Just get your time frame out of your head. So anyway.
I think we need to do some marriage counseling,
right?
Yeah, we should.
We might have a domestic. Right.
Let's dive into this.
Yeah. Can we change the language? Can we use "I feel" statements?
So I said to Josh this day, I said, I feel like I really want to get 1 more woodcock. I did just for you. I was like, I've got 2. I only need 1 more for my limit. I feel like we need to try 1 more cover.
Walk till you die, and I get my 3rd bird.
So we go to 1 more cover, and we take Kylo in, and we weren't in there 5 minutes, and she puts up a bird. But Kylo hunts for herself. She's 500 miles in front of me. But he was on the trail and he saw where it pitched in, so he's like, just come up here, so we get up there and I keep Kylo with me. I'm like, Kylo, stay. Kylo. So we get up there close enough and then Kylo goes in and flushes it because, of course, why would she point it for me? So, but I'm where I can get a shot. So, of course, I get it. So then I got my first limit of woodcock. And you want to know what's really interesting about that day? We got back to the truck. I think he had a limit too.
I'm sure I did.
Of course.
Wait.
Wow.
He was 1 short. We had 5. No, I'm just kidding. We had 6. So we get back and we're lining up we got to take our pictures, get the woodcock lined up. He's got to make them all look
for the gram.
He's got to make it all look pretty, get the guns so they look pretty. And we look up in the sky and there is an eagle doing circles right over top of us. And I was
never left the whole time we were there.
Really?
Awesome.
Till we were completely done and ready to pack up. It never stopped circling us.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Weird.
So it was cool. So, and then on the last time we went out was with your dad. Was that the last time we went out? So I've never got to bird hunt with his dad before. So I was like super excited because I wanted to see what he was like. I hear all these stories and how he's yelling and whatever, but it was really fun to hunt with his dad. And
he's mellowed.
He was on his best behavior. But we all got birds that day. I got 1. Dad got 2. How many did you get?
3.
2. So we had that was the last day that we got out. So that was great. And, so I had a great wood, and you know what really I'll never forget is his dad that day when we were done and we were back having our day's end shot, which there's a poem with that his dad wrote. And we had our day's end shot and he said, he calls me Can-Am Kate because Josh's mom's sister's name is Katie too. So that he was always getting us mixed up. So he calls me Can-Am Kate. So he goes, you know what, Can-Am? He's like, I never thought in a million years you'd get 9 woodcock in your first season. He's like, I'm proud of you. And
That's pretty cool.
Coming from his dad, I'll never
Right,
forget that. So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, he probably prefaced it with, my son's never done this.
Right. I'm glad my son married a hunter. 'Cause he ain't one.
Maybe someday.
Yeah. Them dang deers.
Dang deers, dang woodcocks.
Dang woodcocks.
Speaking of the toast, what is the toast, Josh?
So the toast Dad wrote goes something like this. Now the day is over and the guns are laid to rest. It's time to toast the dogs and birds and nature at her best. Unfetter the weathered day's end box inside a bourbon straight and true. So I raise a glass to cheer the day of spending it with you. And we do that after each hunt. We, at the very end when we're done for the day, we raise that glass and cheer the day that we spent together. So
That is awesome. I love it.
That is
now
cool.
That's a good tradition.
Yep.
I mean, any tradition that includes bourbon is a good tradition.
And he made a box with that on it too, right?
yeah,
That you
and
put
the box is actually made from wood from the deer stand where I shot my first deer.
That is so cool.
And then the leather that ties it together is from bindings off my grandpa's old snowshoes.
Oh, wow.
So typical, Salisbury stuff. We always got to have our traditions and our stuff,
No,
so
it's great. I think it's great.
So then for the first Christmas we were together, Josh's dad had this box, but Josh didn't have one. And a lot of times he didn't always hunt with his dad. So for our first Christmas, I made him one and I put the words on the front of it because sometimes he forgets the words.
Well, he's getting older.
Yeah. So I made him a box and it holds the bourbon, and I had customized little shot glasses made with a woodcock on it that
Man, that's awesome.
engraved that say Days End Shot. So now he's got his own too.
Right.
Nice.
Well, I think the next question is obviously what bourbon's in there.
Right now we have Turkey 101.
Ooh,
is it?
that's good
101
stuff.
in ours, but Dad
Yeah.
usually is E.H. Taylor or something like that.
Good stuff. Awesome.
Yeah, we have the Wild Turkey 101.
Yeah, I like me some Wild Turkey 101.
Yeah.
Very
Basil
cool.
Hayden, Dad puts that.
Oh, yeah,
in his,
that's good stuff. I think we have that up there too, don't we?
Yep, we do.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Awesome story. I'll admit I've never hunted woodcocks.
I have not either.
I've seen them. Every time I go deer stand, they're flying in front of me, but
I've hunted woodcock for. I shot my first bird on the fly when I was like 10 or 11 at Vader's Pheasant Run.
yeah.
Yeah, put some chuckers out, for me to try to get one on the fly, and
Yeah.
so I shot one on the fly, and that was where I got my teeth cut as far as shooting birds in the air.
Yeah.
And then it was shortly after that I was hunting woodcock. But before that, I was following Dad along, out in the woods and whatever. And so it's always been a passion. Like I've always enjoyed it. But in the last probably 5 years, because Kylo's 5, like I've had my own dogs.
Yeah.
And it's a whole nother element to it. Like I went from I enjoy woodcock hunting to I love woodcock hunting.
Right.
Because I like to watch
The dogs
what
work.
the dogs do.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, when you go woodcock hunting, do you get to shoot and see more woodcock or more grouse?
Well, primarily we hunt in younger cover than what would say be typical grouse
Okay.
age. Like it's like really small, maybe
Pecker
2
popple?
inch diameter. Yeah, it's real small.
Mhm.
Like this year, some
So
of the
that's what we
best
call
covers
it,
we
dude.
were in were 6 foot high
Yeah.
Really?
popple.
Okay.
And thick.
Super thick.
Yeah.
And not that we wouldn't put up a grouse here and there, but the grouse seem like they're more in the tag elder where they're
Okay.
meeting
So
spruce,
you can target
whatever.
them is what I'm so
Yeah.
what you're
so
saying
to
is.
speak. Yeah.
Yeah, because I've never hunted them, so I
Yeah.
wouldn't know.
And
I
without
haven't
a
either.
dog, like,
You have no chance or what?
well, there's really no point in doing it, in my opinion.
Okay.
Even if you put one up, you happen to stumble on one because you're not going to see it sitting.
Okay.
Right.
If you happen to put one up and you shoot it, you might get lucky and find it, but the odds are you're not going to.
Really?
Right.
Remind me what kind of
That
dogs you
reminds
have.
me of a story I got to tell
There you go.
about Josh and finding a woodcock. Sorry, Jared, I
No,
cut
that's
you
right.
off.
Go ahead.
I
This
just
is-
wanted to know what kind of dogs.
Right.
Well, we have labs.
Well, you've met them.
This is
I know I have, but what's Kylo?
Kylo is a pointer lab mix,
Okay.
and Leia is a lab.
Okay.
So Kylo will sometimes stop and point it, but she doesn't point for long. Like if you see her on point, you got to get up there and get it. And Leia most of the time flushes, and if she points again, you don't have long.
Yeah.
But if if you're a woodcock guy, if you get 15 seconds where the dog's on point, or 30 seconds or whatever it might be before that dog goes in and flushes it, a lot of times it gives you just enough time to find a little bit of a pocket or a little bit of an opening in between. Because when you're hunting in slash that's, small and tight and thick, you try to find a little opening because that's all you got. And you're hoping that bird flies through that opening so that you get a good shot. And when the dog cooperates and does something like that, it gives you that few extra seconds to get around that log, get around that tree, get your gun in position. It's all the difference in the world,
Right.
But you go ahead and tell your story because it is a good one.
This is
It's down the barrel with Katie.
This is well. That's what happened.
Can-Am Kate.
That's right. So we're out with Josh's buddy Ben. Came up from Duluth to hunt woodcock with us. Well, they went out one day, just the guys. So then I got to go the next day, and we go out down this one trail, and Josh shoots at this woodcock, and I see it fall, and I don't know if he actually got it or not. Like, I wasn't sure if it just pitched in or if he hit it, and he wasn't sure. So we go looking for it, and we have Kylo, and we're looking, and I'm like, I know it went down right here. Like, if we didn't put it back up, like, it's got to be here dead. We're looking. There's 3 of us looking, and we got the dog, and the dog doesn't seem like she's finding it, and I'm like, well, maybe we should switch and try Leia. Like, maybe Leia will pick up the scent. And he's like, oh, I've done that so many times. It don't work. It's pointless. So we finish hunting this cover, and
Also great impression.
I thought it was
I know.
good. I knew exactly who she was.
and so then we go back, and I'm like, God, I know that bird's down. I'm like, Leia's got a nose on her. I said, I'm taking Leia and I'm walking back there to go see if Leia can find it. Because I'm sure it fell. Like, I don't think it just pitched in. Like, I'm sure it fell. And so I go back there with Leia, and Josh is laying on the ground because he's like, I ain't going to. You go see if you can find it. I'm like, okay. And what did you say to Ben when I was gone?
I said, if this happens to work and Leia finds that bird, I'm going to be eating crow for the rest of the day.
So I go back there with Leia, and I'm like, Leia, find that bird. Dead bird, Leia. Dead bird. And she's sniffing around, and she's sniffing like she knows something's there. I'm like, oh, she smells it. I'm like, I know it's here. I'm like, find it, Leia. Right here, Leia. Find it. Where's that bird, Leia? And all of a sudden she goes under this log. Her whole head, like, I thought she was going to crawl through under the log and come out the other side. All of a sudden she comes out from that log with this bird in her mouth. And I was
Isn't that the best?
yes, Leia, girl. Good girl, Leia. Good girl. And I was good. She had that. She was so proud. She was so excited. And I was like, good girl. And I'm giving her all the love. And I'm like, let's go show Dad. Mm-hmm. So we're walking back, and at first I took the bird from her and put it in my pouch, but then she kept looking at me like she wanted it. And I'm like, you want to take it to Dad? And she just looks at me. I'm like, all right, fine. So I give her the bird, and she took off on a dead run, and she ran all the way back to where they were. And it wasn't far, but it wasn't close.
Mm-hmm.
300 yards or 400 yards.
And she runs, and she jumps over this little hill and jumps over top of Josh, and he looks up and sees that bird in her mouth, and he is like, oh, shit. And I was like, you are never living this one down.
Good dog.
Good girl. And, it's Dad and I have always said, when you hunt birds long enough, same with anything, you might lose one. And it's a horrible feeling. Yep. And you do everything you can to find it. And, we'll spend a lot of time with the dog trying to find it. But if the dog's not smelling it and you're not seeing it, you can only stand there for so long. You're not going to find it. Yeah. But we've always said there's something that Dad and I call it like airlock or vapor lock. And every now and then we've seen where a bird will fall and it's like the scent washes away and it's not there. Like, I've literally seen the dog step on the bird before and not even know it's there. Like, if I've seen it on the ground before the dog does, because you try to mark where it's down. And the dog will step on it and just pass right over the top like it's not there. And a lot of times, if the dog is hot and it's panting and the conditions are dry, like that aggravates the situation, which was the case. Like, it was hot that day and Kyla was panting and, whatever. And she just, for whatever reason, couldn't find it. And by the time Leia got there and she was fresh and not, panting up a storm, and maybe the bird had sat there long enough that the scent dispersed a little bit, but you always do the best you can to, find the bird. And
absolutely,
well, lose very few in a year, but it does happen, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, canonically speaking, I think the force was stronger with Leia than Kylo.
Is that what it was?
Yes.
Am I correct?
It was. You would be correct.
Right?
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. They're two totally
live long and prosper.
Dogs. Totally. They
Dude, you're mixing that. You can't do that.
That was intentional.
Oh, okay.
I hate Star Trek. I'm a Star Wars guy.
You shut your mouth.
That was Star Wars.
No, I said,
he said
live long and prosper.
at the end.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
Must have been my bad ear.
Right.
Right.
It's just Jared's voice.
No, they're,
God damn it, Dean.
Back to, the dogs, because in my mind, like, that's the best part of grouse and woodcock hunting, is watching the dogs do their thing.
Yeah.
And getting and making the shot is icing on the cake, and like watching Katie get her first limit and, whatever, it was super exciting. And, I'd rather, there was a couple of times that day where I had a good shot at a bird and thought it was heading towards Katie, so I let it go because I'm hoping that she can get that, limit bird or that second bird or whatever. And sometimes you think it's going right towards her, but it's not.
Right.
But the dogs are, the two we have are totally different. Kylo being she's a lab pointer mix, and she does point quite a bit of the time. Like Katie said, it's maybe for 30 seconds or a minute, and then but if she has really hard scent, you got to coax her in to flush it up. And then Leia, she's more a pleaser. She wants to stay close. She hunts real close. I kind of like hunting over her because I don't have to yell like at all. I don't even talk to her. She just crisscrosses back and forth. She's always in range. You shoot the bird, she finds it. She's bringing it back before I can get another shell in the gun. I look up, she's on her way back, and I've never said anything.
Nice.
And so they're both good dogs. They just have totally different
personalities. Yeah. Well, that's pretty neat.
But no, it's fun. We did some hunting up by the house in North Home, and we hunted quite a bit from camp this year. And we had, like you said, Ben came up, and you were up, and Dad was up, and my sister Megan. Megan came home from Colorado, and we had, fire and lunch and stuff up at camp and hunted up there. And so it was good. It was a great fall. Like, better, the year before it was super dry.
Yeah.
And the birds, woodcock eat primarily worms, so they got to be able to bore into the ground. Well, it was like the ground was like rock hard.
Right.
And I think the birds just moved to where they could find food. I never had such a bad woodcock year as 2024. And so this year I thought either they all died in 2024 because they couldn't find food, or they just moved. And so 2025, this year, I was like, what are we going to see? Like, are there going to be birds? And it was a welcome sight, they were there. And when Ben was up, we caught flight birds, which come down from Canada.
Yeah.
Canada.
Yeah.
And we hit this cover I'd never hunted before. And we had 6 birds in like 40 minutes.
Wow.
And that we had shot, and not counting what we had missed. I mean, we probably put up 15, 20 birds in 45 minutes. But, so if you catch the flight and there's a cover just loaded up with birds, it is so much. It's like shooting, having flocks of bluebills coming into the decoys or whatever. It's the same kind of excitement. You get that.
I don't ever remember being invited to, grouse camp or anything.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Well, it should be nicer to us.
I've personally never got gotten an invite.
I'm pretty sure I said, hey, we're going to be at the camper this weekend. Come on up. And you guys were all like, oh, we got this and that. And we're down here and blah,
Yeah, because
blah,
I'm pretty
blah.
sure she
they
like
stopped by and used our porta potty.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that message came through like 10 o'clock at night.
Right.
You know, as we're
And
already
it said
somewhere
something
else.
like, hey, we're out of beer, bring more.
No.
Something like that.
Yeah, it was something.
But you know, what's funny though, Josh and Ben went out and hit that flight and they had their limit in, half an hour. And the next day, it like Josh says, here today, gone tomorrow.
Yeah.
We went all day.
Mhm.
Well, not all day, but 1:00 before we finally had our limit. And the day before, they had their limit in half hour.
Yeah.
And
So-
then shot a 10.4 corn.
That's right. All in the same day.
Right.
That's all in a good day.
Yeah, all in a good day.
Well, and that covers the flight,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. If there's a northwest wind and a full moon, particularly, which I think was the case that night, birds will boogie, and they'll head south. And especially the later in October you get, the less they'll stay. And so like you said, it was phenomenal that day. And we went into the same cover because it was like, well, geez, we took 6, but there was, 20 in there.
Right.
And so we started there the next day, and I don't know, we put up a couple, but it was like, and there was Splash, which is, woodcock shit for people that don't know what Splash is, but everywhere. I mean, it was all over. You could tell that there'd been a large number of birds in there, but they had boogie. They got the right wind, and they headed south. And so it took us a few covers, and then that last one seemed to have more birds in it. But if you catch it at the right time, it's a ton of fun. Late October.
It was a lot of fun. And because we can't get enough of shooting things, guess what we're doing tomorrow?
Grouse hunting?
Grouse.
Nope.
Deer hunting?
Deer. What else can you shoot?
right
Domestic abuse.
We're going down to Bader's and doing a pheasant hunt.
There you go.
now? Okay.
Just because we can't get enough, we need to shoot something else.
Why
Did you guys-
pheasant
I never
limit
got-
just jumped to 3?
Yeah, I never got the invite to go to Bader's.
You can
No, I didn't
come.
either.
You guys are more than welcome to
Just
come.
got to buy some birds.
More,
Yeah,
the
right.
more
Sure
people.
seems like we're, the second thought or
Second.
third wheel or,
Third or fourth.
We just want
we're the
your money to
trailer.
buy
Well,
birds.
is this like an official
Invite? Yes.
in my official capacity, like I need to be there as like a partnership meeting.
Yes.
Like
This-
this is a valid reason to skip the board meeting.
Yes.
Okay.
This is
will
an
be there.
Right.
This is an MDHA.
Sanction.
Let's put it
It's a
this way: if you're
sponsorship
not there
opportunity.
Yes.
hunting tomorrow, Itasca chapter might fold.
Dude, it's your responsibility to save the chapter.
Ooh, Jared.
It's on you, man.
We're actually going deer hunting tomorrow.
Yeah.
In the
Oh,
lodge,
where was
so-
my invite? Huh?
She's got an open tag.
Oh, come on over.
Come on
So
over.
speaking of deer hunting, though, I do have to throw a little shout out. So we were looking in. I was reading a magazine that I get, Game and Fish, I think it was, and they were talking about the late season CWD hunt.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I was like, God, maybe we should do that. Like, still got an open tag. CWD hunt doesn't even matter. Like, I can buy a tag.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so I was looking at some of the areas, and one of the areas was down where we went turkey hunting in the spring.
Yeah.
So I reached out to Perry,
Love that guy.
who we had went to his land to turkey hunt. And all I wanted to know was, is there some WMAs or good public land, in your area that we could go hunt, that you could maybe steer us to?
Right.
And as soon as we mentioned it, he was like, well, you can come hunt on my land if you want. And he's like, we're done hunting for the year. Like, it was very, beyond gracious,
Yeah.
Very
I told him,
Minnesotan.
trying to, get Katie a deer and
Right.
be fun to do the hunt and whatever.
Yeah.
He was like, just right away, we've got our deer for the year. We're done. You want to, come here and maybe he's wouldn't be happy to hear us say that because he'll be like, well, everyone's going to ask me.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna ask him. I'm just gonna show up and pretend to be you.
Right.
Right.
Right. We're heading down there.
He's
Right?
just that kind of guy. And we were going to do that, but the next weekend after that, we head out to see my sister in Colorado, and then we're there a few days, and then we go to Utah to do a fall,
Yeah.
what they call fall turkey hunt.
Fall, huh?
So I don't know why they call it fall because it's January.
Right. Well, there's
So we're doing that. And
They're
it's
on
kinda,
Utah
well,
time.
It's
You
Utah.
only got so much time. so
Right.
much
It sounds
money.
pretty rough.
Right.
It sounds pretty rough. Right.
Yeah. So when you guys get back from your fall turkey hunt in January in Utah, we might have to have you back again, and hopefully we'll have a story from Katie.
Right.
If I don't
Yeah.
get a turkey, we are not coming here.
Oh yeah.
You better,
Just so you
better
know.
walk back into the studio, beard in hand.
All right.
Right.
That's what I want to see.
If I get one, I will bring it.
Perfect.
Do it.
But if I don't,
Just a full body mount.
If you don't, you're not coming back.
I'm done if I don't shoot something.
Just gonna relinquish yourself to the deserts of Utah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Or
cool.
I'll just come here and drown my sorrows.
There you go.
Perfect. That's what
Bring
we do.
something other than that salted caramel.
Right.
So good.
Mhm.
I mean,
Well, I
get
hope
it.
you
It's
guys
proud.
have a hell of a trip out there because that sounds fun.
I think it will be. It's only a 2-day hunt, but apparently the guy that we're going with, he said the birds come down from up in the mountains and they come down a little lower to find food. And so they're congregated. And he said there's birds everywhere. Like it's nearly 100% success. You know, like
That's
unless
pretty much
you
what
miss or
Katie
you
needs.
screw
So
up,
she's
like-
got a good chance. She's got a good chance.
I
Love
bought
you, but
another box
that's
of
what you
shells
need.
so she can whittle away, and I'll just like, you know.
What is that in exchange rate though? 100%. What is that like?
Dude, like
So it's
US
probably
to Canadian.
like
Yes.
25%.
Yeah,
you
for
know.
Canadian.
So
It's not good.
It's not looking good, folks.
Is she gonna say them darn turkeys?
Them darn
They wouldn't
turkeys.
stop running.
They were
Them
running.
dang birds.
Dang
Dang
birds.
birds.
right.
No, I'm getting one. I'm getting
All
one.
right. You better.
You better.
I will.
So-
I want pictures.
Back to you guys whining about invites. Next
I don't
fall,
think we
you
were
guys
whining,
should come up
right.
and
I think we were just pointing
Do a
out the double
woodcock
standard.
We should. And you know what would be really cool is we can do the woodcock hunt and do a on location podcast that evening.
oh, that'd
And,
be
and be
Around
how
the fire?
and how awesome
Ooh.
we were. And
Ooh.
Katie
Right.
might have missed a few.
Oh,
Absolutely.
you're funny.
Absolutely.
I'm pretty
We'll,
sure
we'll get
you
our
haven't
9
shot
birds in
one.
30 minutes.
I have
Is that
shot
what
a
you can
woodcock.
shoot? I haven't. I've
Well,
never shot
it's
a
3
woodcock.
apiece, right?
I know one.
Yeah.
3 apiece.
So between us 3, we'll get 9.
So-
Josh might get 1.
First night at Camp Timberdoodle's always ribeyes.
Ooh,
Oh,
we're going.
I'm
We're
there.
going.
I'm there.
We're
And,
there.
At least for the first night.
and if I have anything to do with it, it's ribeyes and shrimp.
Oh,
We're there.
love me some surf and turf.
Yep.
Yeah.
Second
Right,
night?
we're there.
Usually,
No.
pork chops
First
are
night.
second
First night
Oh,
is
I got
usually.
that wrong. 'cause
First night is usually burgers because we're getting there on like a Friday
right.
night, so
Makes
we're doing
sense.
something
Okay,
easy.
well, there's second night.
Second
Second
I
night.
meant first night of hunting.
Second
Okay.
night is ribeyes.
Okay.
Saturday night is ribeyes and shrimp.
All right.
And if there's a Sunday, we usually do pork chops,
Chops.
or something.
Dude, I'm there all 3 days.
Really?
Yeah,
I want to
right?
eat some
I'm
grouse.
Well, we'll do that too.
Okay.
That's lunch.
That's lunch.
We usually have brats and stuff for lunches.
We have
Grouse
went
sprouts.
out and we've done, where we've brought the boat up before,
Yeah.
and we'll hit the lake and catch a bunch of nice bluegills, and
Oh,
then
yeah.
we'll fry up some fish.
Listen to this guy.
I like
So-
Yeah,
that.
we're going with him.
Mm-hmm.
This
Camp
might be
Timberdoodle's the place to
all
be.
I know,
like you guys
this-
Jimmy,
talk
Dean,
food.
Jared, and
Like I said, I thought it was just a shitter on the side of the road.
Right. I mean,
You know, our camper is, well, I mean, I'm not sure I want to share my camper with you three, but there
We got
is
our own.
room for you three.
oh, we could bring our own.
Oh, that's too
Jared
generous.
lives close by. He could go home.
That's
Yeah,
true.
But not if he has
We're
too
there.
much to drink.
yeah. And
Also
that,
true.
that's
Yeah.
hap- he can sleep in his truck. He's
I
good
would
at
Yeah,
that.
you have a bed
rather
mattress and
you
that.
sleep on the camper floor than drive home.
I've got a
What's
full
that saying
camper
you
set
guys
up in my
always say to
truck.
Jared? I think I heard it.
I don't
on
know, there's a
last
lot.
what's the
Yeah, I don't
saying?
know.
Fuck, Jared.
You should have warned me. I would have got it back over.
Well, I can do it later
That's true.
afterwards too. So
That's true.
Yeah.
you'll hear a beep. instead
We
of that.
even had the vet saying that.
I know. He had the vet saying that.
That's what I was. I
Yeah.
just listened to.
He's
that
like
podcast.
coaching him
Yeah.
in the blind.
You know what?
I'm in my blind, like teaching hunting.
I missed that part.
You know what?
The podcast I listened to.
I hear that everywhere I go,
Yeah.
including from my wife.
I was
And
gonna say
that's-
at
that's
home,
it. That's
too.
my love language.
that is his love language.
Yeah. Right. It's nice.
It's jealousy, Jared, is what it is.
It really,
jealousy.
yeah, it's something.
jealousy.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
in review of this podcast, what did we actually talk about?
2 things.
Anybody
Number
knows?
1, dem dang deers.
Damn dang deers.
Number 2,
What?
get your bullet rub.
Number
bullet
3,
rubbed.
it's
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go
Can't
ahead.
think of it anymore. Or what?
something butterscotch. Shit, I forget what it was.
That's butterscotch.
It's
dumbass.
butterscotch,
dumbass.
dumbass.
Yes, that's what it was.
Number 4, sometimes it's hard to translate between Canadian and American.
All I know
It's that rate. You know?
whenever we talk to somebody, food comes up,
It always does.
and we never get food.
I haven't eaten all day.
Oh, we should
I
go
know.
get some meat.
I'm gross. I mean, I'm hearing you can eat woodcock, right?
I just want a ribeye.
Yes.
I've
it's good.
Yeah, is it? I mean, I think they're tiny though, aren't they?
Yeah, you need a few to make a meal.
Like 30.
I mean, you would need like
30 for Jimmy.
yeah,
right.
Like one woodcock is like 1 dino nugget.
yeah,
Pretty
yes,
much.
yes.
Yep.
Okay, I like dino nuggets.
So, like,
Oh, my
I
kids
think
love
I
them.
think you guys would like, if, let's say we went out next year and I could handle you guys for a whole day.
And not going to happen.
That would be tough.
If we took the woodcock and we did like wrapped in bacon
Ooh.
and cream cheese, like make a
Oh.
proper out of it.
Can we put some jalapenos in there too?
Pepper,
Are they like the size of a dove?
Huh?
Are they like the size of a dove?
I would say they're smaller.
Smaller.
Yeah, I
than
think they are
yeah.
I've
smaller.
never seen
They're
a dove
small.
breast.
They're
but I
more-
would say it's
they're
Because
smaller.
like the dove poppers is like
So you could
The
have
go-to.
woodcock poppers.
Yeah.
Yep.
cock,
sure.
cock
It's a
poppers.
dark
Cock
it's dark
poppers?
meat.
I like it.
Yeah.
Dean will swallow it.
He definitely will. He loves them some cock poppers.
You know what? Why is it pick on me all of a sudden? This is
I mean, it's because we know.
All I know is I hope Trapper's asleep at this point.
Trapper shut off a long time ago. He's
I
like,
was
these
just
guys are
gonna
idiots.
say, forgive the language, Trapper.
yeah. We
Every-
blame Katie.
Every now and again,
But
we have
thanks
to
for
have a
listening,
podcast
man.
like this.
And congrats
Or it
on your
just goes
first
off the
deer.
rails.
Yep.
Huh?
It does go off the rails.
Just saying thanks for listening, Trapper. Congrats on your first deer. We apologize for the inappropriate
Whatever you may have heard.
language.
Right.
We blame it on Josh.
We
Definitely.
do.
Definitely.
Mostly.
He has bad judgment. Very poor
Horrible.
judgment. He married a
Hey,
Canadian.
whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. That'll be enough out of you.
She did not even bring Timbits.
I told you, if I wouldn't have got called into work, I was driving to
Uses
Fort
it-
Francis.
Likely story.
Right.
Yeah.
They say it's the thought that counts. I
Right.
call bullshit.
Right.
I knew I should have texted you because I knew you wouldn't believe it if I said it.
I still don't actually believe you.
I don't either.
Ask Josh.
I think they
I
were
already told you my version.
Well, I believe Josh more, actually. She did get him probably, and he ate him.
right.
That is more like it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for the thought.
Yeah.
All right.
But on that, it was a good deer season, good grouse
Right.
and woodcock,
Yeah.
and we're hoping we can make it up to Camp Timberdoodle.
Doodle.
Right.
For some cock
and learn about woodcock
cock
hunting because
poppers.
I have no idea. I've never done it.
Yeah.
And I grew up not
Oh,
far from
man.
Camp Timberdoodle.
This
Yep,
is going to
it's
be
a
like
date. We
working
gotta
with
pick it.
3-year-olds,
Oh,
taking them
That's
woodcock
generous.
hunting.
drunk
I'll take
3-year-olds.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just yeah.
that are still in pull-ups.
Yeah, there's
Yes,
that.
accurate. Hey, astronauts were pull-ups too, so
Good
Right.
thing I'm
And they're
trained
really
in-
cool.
Good thing I'm trained in this.
it's a
Right.
good thing she's
I
trained
got
to
this.
handle us.
I got this.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No, thanks for having us back. We appreciate it.
No, we
Yeah.
want you back after the Utah trip.
Exactly.
Oh, I
for
can't
sure.
wait. I'm
There
so
better be good
excited.
stories.
Yeah, the Utah
I
fall
hope you
hunting
get
trip in
one.
January.
And I was gonna say, and I don't, so you can rub it in, but I don't want that.
Well, I can guarantee when they come back from this Utah trip, we're going to hear a story that includes Josh was sleeping.
Yes.
I guarantee somewhere
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
in the story, Josh is sleeping.
Oh, yeah.
Should we make predictions for
Yeah.
the Utah trip?
Yeah, let's hear
How
it.
long is he going to stare down a turkey before he finally shoots it? Last
Depends
time
on
was
when he
40.
wakes up.
Last time was 45 minutes.
No, he ain't going to wait that
This-
long.
I don't
I
know.
think-
The way it sounds, that he ain't gonna have time to sleep.
Right.
No.
Either
not for
you're
long.
coming back from Utah with the turkey, Katie,
Yes, I am.
or Josh is coming back with a second wife because that's what they do out there.
Right.
Hey,
I
in
suppose.
Utah.
It's
Utah.
Utah.
Or,
you know.
or Katie's
Mhm.
coming back a widow.
That's also a possibility.
Hey, it's Utah.
It's Utah.
This could
He
be
got
used as
one.
evidence now.
He,
So
she
just
got
saying.
one, I didn't.
Mhm.
Josh
There
did
could be a
full
hunting
outfit.
accident.
Right.
Right.
Yep, exactly.
So them turkeys are coming down the LaSalle Mountains out there.
Mhm.
That's what we're talking.
Are you in Moab area?
No, it's past
Selena.
that.
Okay.
It's past
Oh,
that.
okay.
Selena,
Nice.
Utah is where we're going to be at.
Mm,
Well, good luck to you guys.
Yeah, I hope so. Should be fun.
Mhm.
take pictures.
Yes.
We will.
Oh, we will.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Cool.
So what else we got to say?
I'm hungry. I gotta pee.
I think that's about it.
I'm hungry. I gotta pee. That's
Them dang deers.
them dang
Dang bladders.
Well, thanks for coming down, making the
Thanks
drive,
for
guys.
having us,
Appreciate it.
guys.
Thanks for coming down.
The Minnesota Deer Hunters Association has been building our hunting and conservation legacy over the past 40 plus years through habitat, education, advocacy, and legislation in Minnesota for Minnesota.
The Minnesota Deer Hunters Association and Wolf Dot Report proudly sponsor this podcast. However, please note that the opinions, topics, and guests featured may not necessarily align with the views, beliefs, goals, or mission of our sponsors.
Dashing through the snow on a rusty old ski-doo. Through the bush we go, dodging caribou. Frostbite on my ears, nose completely numb. Faster, faster, beaver cheers, for Christmas Eve has come. Jingle bells, beaver yells, Santa's on his way. Oh, what fun it is to ride the jolly true North Way. Hey! Jingle bells, beaver yells, Santa's on his way. Oh, what fun it is to ride the jolly true North Way. Dashing through the snow, across the northern lights. Santa's soaring high, such a thrilling sight. Santa's sled is crammed with gifts for everyone. Sasquatch reaches up a hand and starts the snowy fun. Jingle bells, beaver yell, Santa's on his way. Oh, what fun it is to ride the jolly true North Way. Hey, jingle bells, beaver yell, Santa's on his way. Oh, what fun it is to ride the jolly true North Way. Spilling from the night, gift wrap treats for all. Blizzard of delight, we duck as presents fall. Who knows which is which? Let's open them and see. You and I should make a switch, 'cause this one's not for me. Maple candy dish, what a letdown for this loon. All she wants is fish, she steals some from raccoon. Owl unwraps a prize, so does caribou. Wouldn't it be wise for them to make a switcheroo? For cake's quite a treat, for a nutty otter pup. Fiddles sound so sweet when they're all tuned up. Muskox gets new boots, Wolf gets new pads, hooray! That they will really suit when Wolfie shoots and scores on Christmas Day.